Good evening, everybody. We're here today at the beautiful La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, and we're here for the Ghana Student Education Fund Ghana Youth Forum. And it's been an amazing couple of months where we've gone around Greater Accra looking for the best debating teams, and they're here today, and we're going to discuss, education reforms, and we're going to see what policies we can come up with. It's so packed right now. People are coming in. It's so exciting. Everybody is ready. The adrenaline is flowing. So let's take a look. Ghana Youth Forum was started by the Ghana Student Education Fund and Generation of Honor in collaboration with the Be Bold Show. The forum is all about long-term education reform in Ghana by bringing all the stakeholders of the educational system together and allowing the youth to lead the discussions.
Youth should take up the mantle. Okay, what we are doing, we are setting the pace for the youth. Okay, we have to see ourselves that we are the future leaders, and we can't always sit down for the adults to make certain things for us, to implement policies for us. We also have the capabilities and abilities to come out. We have certain things in us, so we have to exploit them so that we can help build a better Ghana for all of us.
A representative of the Ministry of Education graced us with her presence as we held our preliminaries at the Lincoln Community School, where we had an intense day of debates and discussions. The winners of the prelims will be joining us on the 30th of July at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel for the finals. Besides going home with RLG laptops and phones, the final winners will also have the chance to sit with the Ministry of Education and formally submit their policy reforms. These will be received by the ministry and possibly implemented as government policy.
Let the voice of the youth be heard in deciding about education. After all, it's all about you, the youth, education, and we need you to tell us how you think we can make it better, how you think you should be mainstreamed.
Today, we first take a look at the winners of O'Reilly Senior High School. Let's introduce you to our winners, Caleb and Claudia.
Hello GH, this is your man Caleb from O'Reilly Senior High School, the only school in the middle of the city. We are fired up and we are ready to go. Trust me, we are catching the trophy.
Ghana, this is Asabriban Claudia from O'Reilly Senior High School, the eye of senior high schools in the city.
Oh yes.
I am one of the debating contestants for the Youth Forum, and I bet you there is going to be a keen competition, but I believe we are going to win.
The O'Reilly Senior High School was established by Reverend O'Reilly, a Sierra Leonean, and was adopted by the Ghanaian government in 1960 as a public school. The school has 656 students, 52 teachers, and 20 non-teaching staff. They are hoping to relocate from the current location after 85 years of existence because the Ghana Education Service could not purchase the building from its current owners.
We are not bad at all. Let us not leave the destinies of hundreds or several students of O'Reilly to government. We can also do something in our own small ways to help relocate our school. We have had enough of the long waits. We have had enough.
All in all, it seems that Caleb and Gloria are ready for their contestants. Be Bold wishes you guys the best of luck in the preparations, and we cannot wait to hear your final arguments. We're here today at the Odogono Senior High School, who qualified in the preliminaries for the Youth Forum. And we're here just to see what their school is all about and have the two winners just show us around and give free tickets away to some of the students. So, are you guys excited?
Oh, yes, we are.
Let's go check it out. The Odogono Senior High School celebrated its 70th anniversary just last year. The school was originally established in 1940 as an all-boys school and only became a co-ed in 1993. A boarding facility was opened just 3 years ago, but there is already a need to expand it. The motto of the school is Nobis Nitendum Est, which means for us is to strive. And this is exactly what the debating team of this school is planning on doing.
Hi everybody, my name is Ransford Bois, representing Odogono Senior High School.
And my name is Chris Parker Tefoga, representing Odogono Senior High School.
They will be supported by their fellow students on the day of the event, which were chosen by chance in a draw. Be Bold knows you guys will do great and hopes that you gentlemen prove to us why the youth also need to be heard. Look at the winners of the West African Senior High School. Hey everybody, we're standing here today at the West Africa Senior High School, and we're here because their school qualified in the prelims for the Youth Forum. So we're here to see what they're doing, how they go about, preparing themselves for a youth forum and how they got so good. So I'm standing here with Stan and Charles, who are representatives of the Ghana Student Education Fund, and Michelle, who's here for the Generation of Honor. Are you guys fired up?
Ready to go!
Let's go check it out. The West African Senior High School was established in 1946 with the aim of providing quality education, including academic discipline and moral upbringing, to its students. The school has a library, 3 classroom blocks, a science block, a mosque, a Christian chapel, and an assembly hall. The motto of the school is faith, industry, and wisdom. The highest challenge that the school faces at the moment is the lack of a boarding facility.
We have moved onto a comfortable area with lots of land. It is a day school. The moment we came here, it became a day school. And we all know challenges that faces day school. Punctuality, truancy, these are some of the problems we face. And if, for once, the government would listen to our plea and come back to give us at least 2 dormitory blocks, 1 for boys, 1 for girls, I think it will have a tremendous impact on the academic performance of the school.
However, this does not seem to affect the active debating team, who are convinced they will win the final Youth Forum debates that will be held on the 30th of July at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel.
This is a very meaningful time for us to reflect on the various policies we've had since our colonial era, and also try and contribute our ideologies to modernize it and make it worthwhile. I believe that when the skills of an individual is tapped and developed, it would be of maximum benefit, not only to our nation but to the individual in question.
A wise man once said, "Argument is exchange of ignorance, and debate is exchange of knowledge." So it is certain that we, the 2 finalists, we did well. We are the youth. All the things happening in Ghana is affecting our lives. So our lives are in jeopardy if they do not take what we have said into consideration.
Be Bold wishes you the best of luck with your preparations, and we're extremely excited to hear your final arguments.
At this point, I think you've all seen a bit of the summary of what we've been doing here. The Ghana Youth Forum has been something that we started months and months ago when Stan Osei-Bonsu there came to the Be Bold show, and he had this brilliant idea of trying to find a way to really improve our educational system. So the Ghana Students Education Fund and Generation of Honor put this all together. They organized it. They went all around Greater Accra, along with Be Bold, of course, and we pretty much did preliminaries, and we went around, found out, okay, what are people thinking? They all had a different debates, all these brilliant ideas, and eventually we managed to narrow it down at Lincoln Community School. When was it? Some time back, anyways. It was about a couple of months ago. And for those of you that have been watching the Be Bold show, you've seen some of the introductions that we've been doing of the different schools, and we'll show them again today. But eventually we narrowed down to 3 schools. O'Reilly Senior High School, and then we had West African Senior High School and Odogonos Senior High. So all the 3 schools, a big round of applause for making it this far. Because it's taken a lot to be all the studying you have to do, researching for all the educational systems. It must have been very, very difficult.
Stan started as a product of the Ghana public school system, where he retreated from a young, inquisitive boy to a shy and frightened little thing. It was only years later, after he had been relocated and started attending an international private school that he slowly crawled out of his shell. Today, we see a young, confident, brilliant mind standing before us who is full of plans and ideas. It is essentially his early childhood experiences that inspired him to start the Ghana Student Education Fund, an idea that was brought to fruition whilst attending university in the US. Believing that every child has a basic right to education, Stan decided it was time to focus on the educational system that is in place in Ghana today. The Ghana Youth Forum was born in an attempt to allow Ghanaian youth to come up with the problems they face, address them, and come up with adequate solutions that government could possibly use for new policy reforms. The need for presenting government with something created for the youth by the youth was always the primary focus and further reflects back in the collaboration with other youth-oriented organizations. Working together with the Generation of Honor and the Be Bold Show brought together different youth platforms to all focus on the same goal. Stan Osai Bonsu is truly a Be Bolder at heart and told us his story during the opening of the Ghana Youth Forum.
What I'm here to talk about is basically the vision of the Ghana Youth Forum. Well, it all started about a year ago when I was in the US. And, you know, back then everybody wants to, you know, go to the US, make a life out there, and, you know, nobody really wants to come home. But I had this encounter where, you know, a woman of God came to me and said, look, Stan, it's time. After I'd done everything I wanted to do, I was applying to grad schools, you know, doing what I wanted to do. The woman came to me and said, Stan, the Lord says you have an assignment in Ghana, and it deals with the youth. Pack your bags, go home, and go help them. Of course, I was a little troubled. I said, wow, you know, how is this going to happen? But just being here tonight, seeing how everything has happened over the last couple months, just reassures me that God is more than able to do exceedingly abundantly and above all we can ever ask or think. So now, to Ghana Student Education Fund. The Ghana Student Education Fund is a student-run international non-profit which basically looks at sponsoring brilliant but needy children in Ghana. The way this project came about was my co-founder, who's not here tonight, he's in the US but runs everything in the US. We're on our bunk beds in a little town called Delaware, Ohio. And we had so much energy, we're organizing programs on our campus, and we sat on our bunk beds one day and I said, Nick, you know, we are sitting here, we're getting this good education, but what about our brothers and sisters, you know, in the public education system? What about our brothers and sisters at home? What about the, you know, and then he chipped in, what about the future Kofi Annans who are not going to make it because they don't have the funds to continue? Of course, he's from, he graduated from Fansipim, so you see where that bias is coming from. But we basically resolved within ourselves that as broke as we were, as little as we had, there was still something we could do to impact the youth of this nation. Because if you don't, you know, put the youth as a priority, then where are we going as a country? So we started the Ghana Student Education Fund. We would host events such as this on our campus. People would donate $1, $2 here. We would send it home. I got in contact with my friend from high school called Michelle Ofer. His mom has been in the education system for over 20 years, so she acted as our consultant, education consultant. We went and scouted for brilliant but needy children, the future Kofi Annans. So that is what we've been up to. We started with faith, and 5 years later, we've been sponsoring 2 children for the past 5 years and 1 child for the last couple months. So it just goes to prove that with a little impetus, with a little passion, a lot can be done, and we are just getting started. So to the Ghana Youth Forum. The Ghana Youth Forum comes in the very spirit with which we started the Ghana Student Education Fund. It is this notion that we want to come against that idea that says that in the US, when it comes to fundraising and the youth, it is yes, we can. But when it comes to Ghana, to youth and fundraising, it is, no, you can't. Wait till you are 50. So, in order to show that the youth are able to do something for their country, we wanted to go out and hear the voices of the youth. What do they have to say about their educational system? What do they want to see improved? And at the same time, bring all the stakeholders to the table. Let's have a civil dialogue. Members of the Ministry of Education, teachers, former students, maybe people who went through the system and maybe were disgruntled but could not share their opinions at the time. This is our time to discuss this issue, and I believe it starts here. We are starting little tonight, as you can see from the audience, but I can assure you in the next couple of years, this event will be huge. So at this point in time, I just want to thank all our sponsors. You know, it wasn't easy at all going out and really trying to push this, but some of our sponsors came through. The Agricultural Development Bank was ready to support us, Ministry of Education. I mean, just to say a few words about Auntie Betty, as I've come to call her. Auntie Betty was ready right from the go. There are some people that are young, and there are some people that are young in heart. There are some people that are grown, and it's almost as if they were never young. But Auntie Betty has a heart of a young person, and she understands the concerns, and she's willing to listen. So let's just give a round of applause for Auntie Betty. So it is in this same spirit that we've started this little movement of our own to make education a priority in this country. Thank you very much, and please enjoy your evening.
And so now, I think we're ready for the debate. So now I'd like to introduce the judges, to invite them to please take their seats over there. The first one is Mark Addison. Please step forward. That's our first judge for today. Up next is Kizito Sedo, please. And then Mr. Humphrey Abwaje of Kulendi at Law.
So as the head of the debate policy, I'll just spell out the rules of the debate, and then I'll introduce our debaters. We're going to have 2 rounds of debates tonight. The very first one is going to take a form of a lightning round. We'd want to have one debate team emerging as the leader, as the winner, actually, and then that team would debate the school that had already secured their place for the grand finale tonight. We are going to have a debate between O'Reilly Senior High and West Africa Senior High. Odogono Senior High has already booked their place for the grand finale. So this is how the debate is going to take shape. Let me just spend this time to delineate for you the parameters. For the first debate, it's going to be on a very important issue that is in our senior high schools. The topic is, should corporal punishment be permitted in senior high schools in Ghana? This is going to invoke a lot of spontaneous thinking and flair in debate. So we are actually going to see the talents of the young ones being exuded. That is a core reason why we are here. And then for the second debate, we're going to have a policy debate. The policies that the senior high school students envisage in the future and what they would want to do about the educational reforms will be presented to all of us, so we'll interact with these ideas. So without much ado, I'd like to invite the team for O'Reilly Senior High. Shall we welcome them with a round of applause, please?
It was now time for the first round of debates to start. Although the Odogono Senior High School had immediately placed itself in the finale, the judges had been unable to make a decision as to who was better out of the O'Reilly Senior High School or the West African Senior High School. It was thus decided that there would be a pre-round at the actual forum that would qualify one of the 2 teams to continue to the finale. The topic of debate for this round was based on the disciplinary measures in the school system, and after our graceful host Crystal Jean flipped a coin, it was decided that the West African Senior High School was allowed to start this debating round.
Issue before the House is whether corporal punishment should be allowed to continue. So it means taking place in our educational sector. And if it is taking place in the educational sector, let's ask some questions. Question 1. does it help the students? Let's take a look at this graphic that I have here with me. The graphic here is telling us about fake drugs flooding the market. It happened that a news item I was listening to one day when I was going to school. This news item was coming from Joy FM. And what did they say? It said that 9% of students in the junior high school are using drugs. We are using corporal punishment and it's failing, then it's high time we started plowing. If the plowing fails, we manure. Now that the two have failed, it is high time we command it to yield fruit by looping it. We have to stop corporal punishment. A word to a wise, they said, is enough. And we know that it takes one word to change the world. If we are...
Honorable Minister, members of the jury, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, comrades of the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. You asked me this evening whether corporal punishment should be continued in our schools. And I, together with my colleagues, say a very big no to that. All we are saying is that corporal punishment should not be permitted in our schools. In the first place, what is corporal punishment? Corporal punishment is simply a form of physical punishment. Yes. 3 years ago, a high school in the central region recorded death of one of its students. Why? This is because their teacher was coming with a cane.
Stop paying bills. Come home and help build a nation.
That student ran through the window and then he lost his life. And so obviously, corporal punishment must not be promoted in high schools. Thank you.
After round one, the Honorable Minister herself addressed the crowd.
All the organizers, thank you all the sponsors. I think you've all done a really, really remarkable job. This is a wonderful evening, and I think it's the first of many more to come. So, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, the sponsors, and media, everybody else here, the panel of judges who have done a remarkable job as well. As you know, governments find it difficult to fund. Governments find it difficult to pre-finance. We are expected to do so much in the area of education, and we believe in it. We believe that our future rests on the youth, and we know that we have so much to do. That is why I, in particular, am so delighted today to find that it is you, the youth, you yourselves are organizing this. And we, or the Ghana Education Service, are not the main drivers behind this. We are here to help you, to support you, to champion you. But today, this is all about the Youth Forum, organized by the youth, for the youth, and you, the youth, are the ones who are going to benefit. And that is why the ministry has been in this collaboration with the Ghana Students Educational Fund, headed by Stan. Stan Osebunsu really is a stand-up guy. He has done so much. A very motivated, highly functional, very organized young man. And I can well see him in a few years' time standing here as Ghana's Minister of Education. So those of you who can, please take a leaf out of his book. Be bold for the right reasons. Be bold for the right reasons. Reach for the skies. And always have this, have a team that you can work with. I think Stan has a dream team here of Crystal, Stara. You know, these are stand-up people as well who have dedicated their time towards this special cocktail of activities which you have: debating, fundraising, the training in public speaking, to teach you to be self-confident, research into policies, throwing challenges to the ministry. So I want to thank you for this. And I want to encourage other Ghanaian youth to also get into this, to also undertake projects. It's not all about money. True, some of it is about money, but not all of it is about money. You know, get into projects and come to some of us to help you. Organizing, for example, free holiday classes for children in your communities, looking at organizing community labor. You are the ones who are going to drive Ghana forward. You are the ones who are going to well and truly put us in that middle income bracket. And it is important that you see yourselves as agents of change. It's important that we who make the policies, listen to your voices. So, let me thank also your teachers. Without the teachers, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be standing here without my teacher. And I know none of us would be here without our teachers. Let me also extend our ministry's appreciation to all the sponsors. You are uniquely blessed today. You have Mr. RLG himself here. Roland, stand up and let them see you. He's partnering with the Ministry of Education in terms of providing laptops and ICT to our schools. Next year, we're going to see an ICT revolution in the Ghanaian public school system.
After a short intermission full of delicious snacks from La Palm's completely redesigned and impressive menu, it was time for the finale.
Educational policies, their proposals for educational reforms to us. And that is what they're going to be doing, but it's going to be in the form of a debate. So this is the policy debate aspect of tonight's enterprise. So this is what they have been tasked to do. The question is, what are the 3 major things that need to be fixed in the senior high school public educational system, and how does one fix it? The rules that applied in the first debate are going to apply in this debate as well. So we'll take the opportunity to just toss the coin and know who is heading first, and then we shall begin with the debate.
The finale focused on what educational reforms the students thought were vital for a better schooling system. The various segments to the debate focused around this premise, with both schools first giving their general views on the educational reforms.
Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, Honorable Minister for Education, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Education delivery and implementation is devolved to institutions, districts, and regions through various agencies of the Ministry of Education. Of these, the Ghana Education Service is the agency that implements the basic and the senior secondary school education components, including the technical and the vocational institutions. For the other educational sectors, the National Council for Tertiary Education and the non-formal education delivery have important subsectoral areas of responsibility regarding education delivery. Let me therefore begin by saying that one main challenge affecting our public senior high schools is that our education has continued to be knowledge-based. Mr. Chairman, according to Ghana2Ghana.com, most employers have complained that graduates from our various institutions are not able to fit into the job market as required. What then will be the essence of attending school for over 15 years and at the long run remain jobless? One funny thing that happened whilst we were coming, that's the reason why we were even late, was that the car in which we sat belonged to an engineer. And as we were coming, the car got spoiled. I was expecting that as a doctorate degree holder in engineering, we just get down from the car, apply some mechanism for the car to start moving. He had to stop, go and call a fitter who was not even step foot in class 1 room before to come and repair the car for him. What then are we going to do with our education? Meanwhile, education, we want it to be school-oriented. Meanwhile, the mission of the Ministry of Education is to provide relevant education to all Ghanaians at all levels so as to be productive to ensure growth in the socio-economic aspect of our nation. What then will be the sense of having this mission, and at the long run, a whole engineer who the whole Ghana can boast of cannot even repair his own car? Therefore, to solve this problem, there should be policies linking education to self-employment. Why do I say this? Because our education sector is not only knowledge-based, it is theoretical. The Chairman, I am a science student of Odogono Senior High School studying biology. I can stand here right now and start drawing the amoeba even in the air without a pencil or a pen and start drawing this way. It comes this way and moves upstairs. Look, it goes very well, and I can start labeling the pseudopodium, the plasma gel, the cytoplasm. I can label it excellently well. But Mr. Chairman, let somebody even bring an amoeba here for me to chew, especially when it's with fufu. I will chew it perfectly well. Why? Because I've not even seen amoeba before. So if students are allowed to go and explore all these things in their various places, for example, I myself in the urban city, I'm allowed to go and explore things like this in the rural areas. Definitely, I'll be able to see these things one after the other, and I'll know how to handle them whenever I see them in my examination, because in science, they come in practical terms. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, the interference of government in the education sector is also a great challenge affecting our public senior high schools. Yes, it is a true responsibility of the government to ensure quality education. And that is why there has been the introduction of so many things as a way of administering what Article 38, subsection 2 of the 1992 Constitution stipulates. That the government shall, within 2 years after Parliament first meet and after coming into force with this Constitution, draw up a program for the implementation within the following 10 years for the provision of a free, compulsory, universal basic education. But during the introduction of these kind of things, were the number of students going to sit in one classroom taken into cognizance? Certainly not. This has
paying bills.
Panel of judges, our great timekeeper, distinguished guests, comrades of the other side, ladies and gentlemen. In lieu of this particular debate, whether our educational curriculum is still relevant, I cogitated, and upon inspiration, I had this definition for education. Take note of this. As an exercise that inspires creativity and curiosity, and the satisfaction thereof, motivation to acquire more knowledge and skills. Yes, and so it means that the process of education should be an exercise that will motivate people, that will arouse the curiosity and the creativity of people. And so for this reason, we have the language policy, which makes it possible that in every area, young people will be taught in their own language so that it will give them some satisfaction. It will arouse their curiosity. That exercise will help them to attain some satisfaction, so they want to attain more knowledge and skills. And so, in a nutshell, we don't want to say that the government or policymakers are not doing anything at all towards the education or the betterment of our educational system. But where our educational system produces mechanical engineers who cannot even fix their watches, where are we heading towards? They cannot fix their watches, let alone to think of building engine blocks. This is what is happening. Our educational system is so theory infested, so much so that the character who is able to choose so many scripts without actually making any sense out of that, that character becomes the hero. I remember not too long ago, exams was pending. And so, together with a colleague of mine, we were glancing through our textbooks. And I took a dictionary alongside, trying to explain every word. And she was like, no, that's all right. Because she has memorized it. Making no sense out of it. And people write exams and make the A's. And we claim that we are moving forward in terms of education. We are here. We boast of discovering oil. And shamefully, we call ourselves a middle-income status country. Now, I dare ask, how many of you here have a hand in the discovery of the oil? No, we don't. No, we don't. And even as of now, the machine that reads the quantum of oil that we produce in a day is broken. It's not fixed yet. What are we waiting for? We have mechanical engineers, don't we? We have engineers in the petrochemical fields, don't we? But we are still waiting for some experts from some
Stop paying bills. Come home and help build a nation.
This was followed by both schools delving deeper into the issue and addressing policies.
Senior High, Odogono Senior High, shall we have your substantive argument?
Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, the accurate timekeeper, the Minister of Education present, Director Pre-Tertiary Education, heads of second cycle institutions, if any be present, teachers, distinguished guests, the media present, fellow eloquent debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. Let us not forget one thing, that education at all levels is not complete until the students produced turn out to reach the consumers. And what do I mean by these consumers? That is the higher educational institutions as well as the job market. Likewise, production is not complete until the end product meet the needs of the consumer. But what do we see these days? Our students are being produced, students leave the university, and at the end of the day, they are not able to work adequately as expected of them. This is because our educational sector is just theoretical. If you could listen to the song that was being played, they say that the elderly ones tell us to sit down and chew and pour if you can. What will I gain at the end of the day if I chew and pour, and then after I have all the degrees, I'm not able to recite even my national pledge? This is very disgusting as on our side as a nation. To propose, Mr. Chairman, these are my policies. First of all, education should be full and equally accessed by all. As I said earlier, I said education should be full and equally accessed by all. This is because education in Ghana is not fully and equally accessed by all. For all you know, an exercise book which a child in a government school in Ghana, popularly called Saito in Accra, would not accept when it's being given to him by his teacher because it is torn, would become an exercise book that a child in a government school in Teobodom would not even mind slapping his friend just to possess. This is the rate at which resources are not properly allocated as far as education is concerned. Mr. Chairman, in his speech delivered on the 2nd of August, on the 2nd of July 2011 at the British Conference Hall on the team Healing Ghana's Health Sector, Professor Jimambedu Kosa made a very profound statement, of which I think when brought into the educational sector will make meaningful. He said, and I quote, "There should be a particular living standard as far as health is concerned, where no Ghanaian should fall below." When brought into the academic sector, this is how it will be. There should be a particular standard of education where no Ghanaian student should fall below. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because when you come to Accra, an exercise book, as I said earlier, which that child will not accept, will become that more valuable exercise book that a child in a government school in Teobodom will accept. So how much more our textbooks? The new textbooks come, they send it to Accra. They take the old ones from Accra, they send it to Teobodom. So how about the pages that have been torn? How about the pages that have been written on? How do the child in Teobodom manage to see clearly? This is the rate at which our educational sector is not being equally assessed. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, there should be policies linking education to the job market. Why am I saying this? I am saying there should be policies linking education to the job market because at the end of the day, if I leave school, where am I going? I am going to work in a reputable firm because I would like to provide food on the table for my wife and she shouldn't come back and be insulting me. Yes, this is very relevant because at the end of the day, let us know that we are not educating ourselves just to be educated, but we are educating ourselves to have good jobs so that when we go in public and we speak, people see us and respect us. Look at this. Kofi's father is poor. He has only one farm. Kojo's father has about 3 businesses. When the media comes and Kofi's father is speaking, all attention will be fixed on Kofi's father. But when Ahmed's father is speaking, everyone will turn his back towards Ahmed's father because Ahmed's father is not in a standing position to speak. So in this case, more emphasis has been laid upon Kofi's father. That is why we are all going to school. Thirdly, Mr. Chairman, there should be policies created in such a way that it reduces the ever escalating competition to get access to the higher educational institutions. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because when you look into their admission form, the University of Ghana Legon, as at 2009-2008 academic year, was having a cutoff point for those who are offering bachelor in nursing as 12. In the year 2009-2010, it was reduced to 9. If this is being done and more students are coming up, you could see that the chances of us getting admission to the university becomes very high. For all you know, our educational sector is being focused in general. What if I am very good in nursing and I can treat patients very, very well? Because I failed in mathematics, I wouldn't be accepted to work as a nurse. This is very appalling. At the end of the day, I am a nurse, and you accept somebody who is not a nurse. When he is working, even if he's not paid, he doesn't care. So when the patient comes, he does not bother. He won't even treat the patient. But if really I have passion for the job, and I'm being accepted because our educational sector focuses on our talents, abilities, and capabilities, I think even if I don't get paid, I am ready to carry my bag and go to the workshop to work. This is very important, and this is how our educational sector should always be. And this is how our educational sector should always be. Because at the end of the day, if you go into the job market, I expect that, I'm doing this work out of passion. An example is me, myself. I am very good in art. But when I was about to register for the basic education certificate examination, my teacher told me that, Kofi, you go and offer science and become a medical doctor, because in Ghana, with art, who is going to respect you? You pass here, they say, you are stinking with your paint and brush. So they are not going to respect you. So I should go into medical.
Stop paying bills. Come home and help build a nation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Minister, panel of judges, Akwe timekeeper, distinguished guests, colleague debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. There is a fact that remains a fact, and we all here will attest to it. And that is, the leaders of today were the youth of yesterday. And so if they are finding problems with the administration of this country, then it means the educational system of yesterday didn't favor them. Because the educational system formed the basis for every development in every nation. And so would it happen to the youth of today if the educational system is not structured in such a way that it imparts the right knowledge and trains the right skills to the student body for the socioeconomic development of the country tomorrow. Talk about the challenges facing the educational system. Rampant strike actions by teachers because they are not well paid. We all here heard our honorable minister in her remarks. She said that teachers form the basis for all the development in this nation. She couldn't have been at this position without the help of a teacher. The teacher is very important. And so, if he is to do his work from his heart with the passion, then the teacher must be motivated. It is sad to note that the government has spent a lot of money to train these teachers, only for them to come out and to go on strike actions because they are not well paid. This reminds me of a scenario which happened in my class some time ago. The teacher posed the question, what would you guys like to do? Mr. Chairman, you will hear the astronauts, the meteorologists, the doctors, the lawyers, the ministers, the presidents, but you'll be surprised to know that nobody mentioned the teacher, not even me. And when the teacher asked why, the response from many of the students was that because they are not paid well. And so this means that even the student body know that the teachers are not paid well. Therefore, I recommend a policy that the welfare of teachers must be sought first. Because they need to be motivated so that they impart the right knowledge to us. Teachers come to class and their mind is not there. Their mind is somewhere else because they decide to venture into other sectors which they deem more profitable unto them. Teachers must be paid well. Then again, we can talk about government influence in the educational sector. We all here will attest to the fact that in the past, we had the middle school, the O-level and the A-level before one can go into the university. This system was changed to the junior secondary school and the senior secondary school system. And now what do we see? Junior high school system and senior high school system. And what we have to note is that anytime the system is changed, a new name is given to it. And the curriculum is also changed. So teachers are faced with a challenge of either using the old textbook to teach or to teach without textbooks. This will deter the academic improvement of students. And a typical example is what Ghana experienced in 1993 when the SSCE students failed poorly because the educational system was changed. So teachers didn't know whether the SSCE was going to take the form of the O-level or A-level. There was no textbooks at that time to teach. And so teachers taught what they deemed fit. And out of 10,000 students which was needed to go into the university, only
a few over who were able to make it. This is a major problem in the educational sector, and it must be addressed. What we are saying here is that the government should have a hand in education, but the hand shouldn't be so deep so that it is going to have a negative impact on the performance of students. Then again, we can talk about inadequate guidance and counseling in our educational system. Most of us, especially in the senior high schools, when we graduated from the junior high schools, we followed friends. Because my friend is going to do science, I followed him. And then when we get to the SHS, we are confronted with doing certain elective subjects that we don't do well, we are not very conversant with. This poses a threat to the academic development of the child. And so the reason for the parents taking the child to school is not realized. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, there are counselors in various institutions in the schools. But these counseling and guidance...
Stop paying bills. Come home and help build a nation.
Lastly, rebuttals and closing statements were given.
Arguments. Closing argument, 3 minutes apiece. So you rebut and close at the same time. Odogono Senior High, shall we listen to your closing argument?
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, my co-debater here made a statement that the leaders of yesterday, the leaders of today were the youth of yesterday. Yes, the leaders of today were the youth of yesterday. But is that supposed to mean that they are the only people we are to pounce all our problems to? You see, I have an account adage which I love so much, so that see, these people are people who have been there. So are you trying to say that all the successes you've chalked, your school is over there right now? It's a very big school. It was there during their time, during the time of their youth. Are you trying to say that that one was a bad innovation they made? No. Let us not pounce all these problems to our mothers who are now grown. Let us see that it is not only they who are causing it. We are also part of the problems which have been caused right now. My opponent also made a statement that in 1993 most students failed because the textbooks were not there or whatever. They were changing the syllabus, and so they couldn't make some new textbooks for them. If we say that we are trying to bring a very big insult to the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education, what it means was that they changed the syllabus and the curriculum without even bringing textbooks that will make the students learn and even be able to qualify and go that far. That is the meaning of it. And so if you stand here and say that there were no textbooks for that, it means that the people who are into education, I mean the educationists we have in Ghana here, don't even know exactly what they were doing over there as at that time. Let me continue my sentence by saying that the main reason normally for government intervention in an economy is often for social welfare maximization. But this is often misinterpreted and misimplemented, leading to gross inefficiency, capacity underutilization, low productivity, low income generation, and poverty at large. What do I mean by this? I am saying that social welfare maximization cannot only be achieved by the government, it can also be achieved through privatization. In other words, there should be a situation, a policy, whereby the chief executive officer of the school shall be known to be the headmistress or the headmaster of the school. For example, we have a club named Kumasi Asante Kotoko. As we all know, it belongs to Otumfuo Osei II. The club belongs to Otumfuo Osei II, His Royal Highness, but he has delegated the club to Dr. K.K. Sapon, the former boss of the Oil Refinery, who is now owning the club, and as if the club belongs to him, but he comes to give feedback to Otumfuo Osei II. That is what we need to apply in our educational system. Government should sit back, watch the educationists do their own thing, come and give feedback to him, and this is what will also help us to develop. All these things are things that we need to look at and solve them right now. Madam Chairperson, Mr. Chairman, sorry. One also thing that is affecting our public senior high schools is that the intervention, the influence from other international aid giving NGOs also play a very major role in all these challenges facing our public. Yes, it is a truism that access to all persons to basic education is essential for a modern nation's economic well-being, especially when the 1992 Constitution gives further impetus to that. But in this new knowledge economy driven by development in information communication technology, there is a growing recognition of the vital role that higher education plays in socio-economic development. Notwithstanding the role of higher education in Ghana, Mr. Chairman, in the 1990s, the World Bank surprisingly held the notion that the key to development in the developing countries was the primary education, and virtually rammed these policies down the throats of many countries, including Ghana. And much as it was desirable to ensure that most...
Stop paying bills. Come home and help build a nation.
Mr. Chairman, the House. to close the docket on our argument and on our policy, let me first make it clear to my honorable members of the other side of the House that what my colleague was trying to say, there is this adage that clarifies it, and let me put that across. It says that the firewood we gather in our youth is what we will use to fire ourselves in our old age. And so what she was trying to say is that the leaders of today are the youth of yesterday. And so if they are facing any challenges or problems in their leadership skills, then it means that the educational system of yesterday did not favor them. That's why they are having such problems, and not necessarily loading all the blames on them. We cannot blame them for all that. And so to zero into our submissions for this policy, one, we are saying that our educational curriculum should be practicalized more so as to make it more appreciable to these young ones. The more I see, the more I believe. This is what the good book says, that seeing is ultimately believing. And so we are entreating the educational system to make our curriculum more practical. For instance, we had a geography lesson. Our teacher brought the map. Two tall guys had to hold the map, and then poor Madam Cynthia, she was so short she couldn't show us the boundaries of West Africa. We need projectors to project the maps on the board so we see things for ourselves. We need to feel things for ourselves so that we get to appreciate what we are being taught. Then again, you heard the minister herself say that she couldn't have been here without her teachers. It means that we have to get better remunerations for our teachers. We have to get better remunerations for them. Medical allowances and all that thereof. We need to make sure that we take good care of our teachers so that they also take good care of us, because strike the shepherd and the sheep get smitten. Thank you. And then also we are saying that, now let me ask you, do you know the responsibility allowance given to our teachers? Do you know? Smitten the shepherd and the sheep are scattered. Thank you. Do you know the responsibility allowance given to our teachers? Let me explain that. Those teachers of ours who have additional responsibilities like form masters, senior house masters, who are to make sure that students do things orderly, they are given 1 Ghana cedi a month. And that will not take a KG student to school for a day. That is their allowance. That is the allowance they take for responsibility. I feel that our teachers deserve better. If anyone is supposed to be riding in the Land Cruisers, it shouldn't be any corrupt businessman. It should be our teachers who are toiling for the nation's future. It should be our teachers. Our teachers must be better paid, better taken off, so that they also take better.
Stop paying bills. Come home and help build a nation.
The final round was filled with heated discussions and passionate statements that kept the audience captivated throughout the debate. It was now time to tally up the score and for some serious deliberations by the judges as to whom had won this first annual Ghana Youth Forum.
This last round has really convinced me yet again that you guys, you have got a whole wonderful future out there. So today, this evening, whoever wins, know that all of you are winners in my eyes. I want to thank you all, and God bless all of you.
Thank you. And we will be submitting the final policy eventually to the Ministry of Education. So Auntie Bessie will take a look at it. Unfortunately, she does have to leave right now. So a round of applause to thank her for coming here today. Thank you so much, Auntie Betty.
The first award that is for the runners-up in this debate goes to Caleb Kuda of O'Reilly Senior High School. The second one goes to the most creative debater for displaying creativity in the assemblage of core arguments. And this goes to Richard Seneca of West Africa Senior High School.
After also handing out certificates to all the schools that participated in the prelims and had still handed in their ideas on what reforms could be made, it was finally time to announce the winners. But first, the judges gave their comments.
My colleague judge said one particular team dwelled so much on just 1 or 2 points, forgetting about the fact that we're supposed to bring out 3 key ideas as to how to reform education. The other school did so well and covered all those points and actually put the icing on the cake when it came to the closing of the arguments. They were fantastic. They did the job. At this point, I wouldn't want to go on boring you with the details. I'll just give you the points and I'll declare the winner. We scored, the 2 teams, 32.5 points and 35.2 points, which means the difference is only 2.7. Very close, so close. Our winner for today, our winner for Ghana Youth Forum 2011 is and our winner is Odogono Senior High. Thank you so much. Thanks.
The Ghana Youth Forum, the Ghana Youth Forum. Everybody's talking about the Ghana Youth Forum. Parents dreaming about the Ghana Youth Forum. Teachers teaching about the Ghana Youth Forum.
Although the organizers faced some challenges, it was agreed that the event had certainly been a great success and that it was time to get ready for next year. To all you students out there, don't just sit back and accept the way things are if you do not agree with them. Remember that you have the power to be the change you want to be. So as always, guys, remember to...